I run Alibaba B2B business in North America. And I want to talk a little bit today about what our platform does, but I'm hoping that we can have a bit of an interactive conversation. So if you're feeling shy, you don't have to participate. If you feel like participating, that's cool too. So first, some background. Alibaba, when Jack Ma started Alibaba 20 years ago, the first business was Alibaba.com. And it was basically a yellow pages of the high quality, low cost manufacturing, primarily in China, right? It was a directory of the factories in China. And over the last 20 years, Alibaba Group has innovated. We have Tmall, we have Taobao, we have just about every business you could imagine inside of China. And quietly, Alibaba.com has also grown and transformed. And so what I'm going to do is try to update you on what is Alibaba.com today and how we're helping small businesses either source the goods they need, either raw materials to make the things that they sell, or finished customized goods that they market, or businesses in North America using Alibaba.com to get distribution around the world. So hopefully this is engaging and interesting, and vote with your feet. So if this is uninteresting or not engaging, leave. Or if you have a question, raise your hand. Let's have hopefully a good conversation. So the first question, we were just doing a host of interviews with reporters, and they were asking, why is Alibaba.com here at CES? Like, why would you be here at CES? And the first thing you should know is we're very focused on helping ideas become innovations, right? Like everybody has an idea. How many millions of business ideas have we all had? But the translation from an idea to an innovation is actually what CES is all about, right? I think I just saw a flying car in the building next. I didn't actually, but like there's all kinds of cool innovations here. And so CES really is the standard for people, where people bring their innovations to market. Well, the transition from idea to innovation generally goes from innovation to item, right? So if you think about it, I have an idea for a business I want to create. I draw it on a napkin, and it's a dream. In order for it to actually become an innovation, I have to find a manufacturing partner and who can help me develop that idea, refine that idea to bring it to life. Then it becomes an item, right? Something I can market or sell. And ultimately, God willing, it becomes income in my income statement. And so the reason why Alibaba.com is here is we are taking many of the innovations you see, VR, real-time translations, and others, and applying them to B2B trade, actually making them useful. Like, I'm not a gamer, but gaming is fun and VR is really fun. VR is more meaningful to me when it helps me actually put on the goggles and walk through a factory that's real-time making the goods that I'm selling. And that's what Alibaba.com is doing. I'm going to share some of that with you here. So I think we all know that many ideas, die on the vine and remain dreams. Erica, my colleague, raise your hand, Erica. There you go. So there's Erica. Erica made 10,000 of these napkins that we've been handing out here at CES, and on them they say, your big idea goes here. And the reason for that, obviously, is we all know how many times you've said to a buddy, hey, wouldn't it be great if the shower head would, I've never said this actually, wouldn't it be great if the shower head would light up in different colors while I'm taking the shower? Well, someone had that idea, and that's an innovation that's a manufacturer someplace around the world made and now sells as a top-selling product on a place like Amazon. And so one of the things we like to talk to entrepreneurs a lot about is to have the courage and the fortitude to turn their napkins into items. And so if you have, I don't know if people in the audience are consultants or financial services executives or entrepreneurs or manufacturers or just people looking for a comfortable place to sit. But if you're someone who is really focused on bringing new ideas to market, we want to be your ally. You think of Alibaba Group as this big company with 99,000 employees and based in Hangzhou, China. But actually, the last 20 years of Alibaba Group have been all about the courage and the conviction to bring ideas to life. And we're trying to help small businesses around the world do just the same thing. So, who knows who the founder of Alibaba is? There we go. Well, now you got to tell me his name. Jack Ma. And what's your name? Lauren Daly? And what do you do, Lauren Daly? Say that one more time. All right. So Lauren Daly works at Pfizer Consumer Healthcare. And I bet when Lauren applied to get a job there, she did not get rejected 24 times like Jack Ma did when he applied to get a job for Kentucky Fried Chicken, or applied to get into Harvard University and was rejected 10 times. So Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba Group, is the ultimate entrepreneur. He's someone who believes that the way you turn your ideas into reality is by hard work and innovation and collaboration and courage. And he failed a lot of times doing that. And having the courage to fail is sort of the first, I think, attribute of the most successful entrepreneur. Being able to have the courage to go after your ideas. And I'm personally incredibly inspired by the founders of Alibaba, and frankly, all the employees at Alibaba are some of the most remarkable, creative entrepreneurs I've ever had a chance to be around. And there is a belief that we should have big and bold and crazy ideas and go after them. And that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. So this is a photo of the original 19 founders of Alibaba Group. And I don't think when they started the business, they would have realized that they were in fact creating the platform that would empower the world's small businesses and entrepreneurs to be successful. And what I see when I look at this picture is what every small business owner or entrepreneur needs, which is allies. People who can do the things you don't do well to help you achieve your dreams. And what we're doing at Alibaba.com is providing a platform for someone who wants to invent a new product, all the tools and resources to do that, to find the high quality, low cost manufacturing they need, to get access to the capital they need and the logistics services they need so that they can bring their dreams to life. So today, Alibaba.com, for those of you who don't know, does business in just about 200 countries. We have over 170,000 of the world's most high-quality manufacturers on our platform. And a lot of those are in Asia, and a lot of them are here in the United States as well. Alibaba.com is a platform that has global suppliers on it, helping global small businesses source their goods. There are over 10 million active buyers on the platform making connections. And the first challenge, if you want to invent a new PowerPoint clicker for your computer, is finding a manufacturer who can help you do that. And the first problem we solve is the matching between someone who's trying to find a manufacturer, and finding the right manufacturer. And then the next part of the puzzle is going through all the process of developing the spec and designing the goods that you want to make to bring to market. And we do business across every country, every category. There's consumer electronics, which obviously this is what today is all about in this show, but we are in the apparel business, the home and garden business, the industrial goods business, the agricultural business. Wherever there are goods that people are wanting to source and discover, you can find them on our platform. So if Erica was going to manufacture dresses and she wanted to find high quality, low cost manufacturing, but the best manufacturing was in Turkey, she would find that on our platform. Whereas if Ella in the back, a colleague of mine, wanted to design iPhone cases, she might find the highest quality, low cost manufacturing on our platform, and that would be based likely inside of China. So a few quick case studies And the reason why I wanted to show this is the people who are who achieve their dreams look a lot like we do, or more like me, like overworked, exhausted, underpaid, all the things that everybody looks like who's working really hard. And it's a big risk to quit your 9-to-5 job to go build a new business. And so one example is Mike. So Mike spent 10 years as a cameraman, and what he realized was that every time he opened his iPhone and the screen cover of his iPhone, he could scratch the iPhone cover, and there was no privacy. So what he did is he invented a product that looks like this on his napkin. That's the actual drawing, just to take it full circle from the napkins I showed you a moment ago. His idea was that he would create a case, that would effectively be a patch that would go over the cover of the iPhone lens, so he could open it and close it, but it would clean the lens every time, so that there would be no dirt or dust when he was taking a picture. Everybody has their own innovation. This was Mike's. And what the brilliant thing is, Mike knew a whole lot of zero about how to find a manufacturer, or how to deal with cross-border logistics, or anything about Incoterms, or how to raise the capital. But he, unlike Pfizer, which I imagine has an enormous procurement department, Mike had Mike. And so Mike, if you think about small businesses all over the world, they need to find people who can, a platform like ours, that can help them punch above their weight, right? Be a lot bigger than they are on their own. So Mike designed his product, got onto the Alibaba.com platform, and matched with a host of manufacturers, used the platform to start talking to suppliers, communicating with them, and then negotiated and paid his suppliers inside of our platform. Does anybody know who these two fellas are? They are not Jack Ma, but they did sell their company for $200 million. So Jake and Kramer didn't apply to Harvard. They dropped out of college. Why did they drop out of college? Because they had an idea, which was they wanted to make watches. And I think some people in the room are nodding, so I imagine you're familiar with this watch company. This was an Indiegogo success story where they went on Indiegogo and designed these cool new watches at $59. And the idea was, could we provide the highest quality watch, the best design, but avoid the retail markup that happens in the watch business, right? We all know that if you buy a watch, you pay an awful lot of money to the middleman. After getting successfully funded on the Indiegogo platform, which is a great platform for empowering entrepreneurs, they began to get distribution for their product. And as you may know, it was recently acquired by Movado. The reason why I tell this story is we all frequently hear about the successful outcomes people have, but we don't often hear about the failures, the struggles, the late nights, and the hard work. And so what we think we're building at Alibaba.com is actually the operating system for small businesses to connect with one another, to make this journey an easier journey to take. Another example, so here's a quote from these guys. They look a lot happier after the sale of their business. And they say, you don't always have the resources like flying to China and doing everything in person, but with Alibaba.com, you can still get really high quality products. And for full disclosure, we didn't ask them for this endorsement. This was an endorsement when we were putting the slides together on the plane from New York last night, we found online. So this is as authentic as it gets. This is a business whose success is the result of collaborating and partnering with Alibaba.com. So my hope is next year we tell one of your stories. So who in the room is inventing a new product or is part of a team that manufactures a new product? What's your product? What's your name? So Erica, I can't hear. So Got it. A semiconductor chip. Who else has a product that they're inventing or bringing to market? There's got to be one of you. You're not all reporters. You're not. Anybody? All right. So the guy in the back there, he invented frames. Jonah, raise your hand. So that guy in the back over there, Jonah, decided that folks in North America who love college sports teams would love to get framed posters of their favorite teams, and so he wanted to design a custom frame that would be, so you could put on your wall once you graduate from University of Michigan or what have you, and didn't know anything about how to do that, but found the manufacturers in China to partner with to go get the distribution. And the reason why I like to talk about people who are starting at the beginning is we all know the stories about the folks that sell their business, but we don't often hear the grindy hard work that happens late nights collaborating and finding the factory you need to make your goods. So a few things that Alibaba.com has built that you may not be aware of. The first that I'd like to talk about is in the middle. It's called Pay Later. The average small business in the United States has 28 days of working capital on their balance sheet. So if you have 28 days of working capital on your balance sheet, the hardest part of cross-border trade is managing your cash flow. So today in the Alibaba.com platform, the millions of small businesses that log on every single day can now apply for and get approved for a working capital loan in under 10 minutes to finance their cross-border purchases. Buy now and paying later creates the rocket fuel to grow a small business. The next thing in that box, today in the Alibaba.com platform, a customer can can quote and buy the logistics service they need for the orders they're making. So if this gentleman in the front is designing sweatshirts and he's going to order half a container load of sweatshirts, first, the hardest thing is finding the manufacturer, getting a sample, negotiating the price, hoping it's going to be the product you want it to be. And then you're faced with the next challenge. How on earth am I going to get this stuff to me from Asia? And mastering Incoterms and cross-border logistics is a nightmare. So we solve that problem in the Alibaba.com platform. You now can get competitive quotes and your logistics in the platform so that you don't have to become an individual entrepreneur doesn't have to become a sophisticated cross-border trader. They've got the service built into their experience. The next, on the bottom right, who in this room speaks English? I bet a lot of you are going to raise their hand. How many of you speak Chinese? So if Jonah is going to work with a supplier in China and they're going to do a video conference, it's really hard because one person's speaking Mandarin and Jonah's speaking English. So what we built, Alibaba's pretty darn good at technology, right? And so what we built is real-time translation while you're FaceTiming with someone. So I'm FaceTiming with my supplier in Shenzhen. She's speaking Mandarin and I'm speaking English. And in real time, while we're talking to one another, it's being translated. It is the technology that is underlying the Tmall Genie product that some of you may have seen in the main hall. So what we're doing is we're taking the innovation and technology that is being launched here at CES and putting it into a B2B context. And we all know the hard challenge of doing business with someone across the world is speaking the same language. So I was speaking earlier today with someone whose native language is Spanish, and they speak English a little bit, and they're trying to do business with China. Well, that's a really hard pickle because they don't speak English well enough, and the person in China doesn't speak Spanish, so how on earth are you going to do business with someone in China? And so our real-time translation app is solving that, and that's built inside of the Alibaba.com experience. The next, if you look at the little egg-shaped chair, I know a lot of people today don't have virtual reality goggles for how they're operating their business, right? I know I don't have one. But what we've started to do is recognize that we want to help a factory owner and a buyer feel like they're next door neighbors with one another. And so what we've done is enabled you, if you put on your VR goggles, to walk around the factory while your goods are getting manufactured. So you don't have to buy the $8,000 flight to Hong Kong and spend 7 days and deal with jet lag going to inspect your goods while they're being made. You can watch them get made. And you may shake your head and say, well, that's not practical for my business today. I'm older than a lot of you. I remember when TVs were not flat. They were square, right? Like when I got married, the TV I had in my living room was a square box. It wasn't a flat thing that hung on the wall. Or, so the innovation that's happening here will be mainstream in the market 2, 3, 4 years from today. And we're pioneering the use of that in the business-to-business context. And then I won't talk about all these, but just the product image search. If you take your phone and you've already downloaded the Alibaba.com app and you take a picture of me, we have real-time visual product search. So you could see my shirt or tie and it will find a manufacturer who can make that product at high quality. So think about that. Take a picture of this gentleman's jacket, which is very handsome, sir, and take a picture of it and be able to find 10 different manufacturers who have the capability to make it. That is the beginning of a journey, right? You could ideally buy that product directly, but unlikely that. It's shortening the time between discovering the factory you want to do business with and actually doing business, right? Because the number one challenge of small businesses is finding manufacturers to make the things that they sell. That's why we're all here. There's 900 people with booths in this very building, all of them trying to help people who want to find a manufacturer connect to them. That's what trade shows are all about. The next, if you download the Alibaba.com app, there's a new feature that's just getting launched today, which the team in Hangzhou has done a brilliant job doing, which is we're digitizing a trade show. And we'll have 30 or 40 of them live this year. And so if you go to the trade show tab in the Alibaba.com app, you can see 40 suppliers who are here at CES up at the front of the Alibaba booth talking about in real time the innovations in their products. So why is that so important? You're here at CES. Why do I need to follow the guy who's right down the hall? Well, the truth is you probably don't. But you're not going to go to every trade show around the planet for the next 365 days. And so there'll be a show in Beijing that you wish you were at, or there'll be the Canton Fair that you wish you were at, or there'll be a show in Berlin that you'll wish you were at, but you won't be there, but you'll be able to follow the manufacturers and the innovations that are happening in real time at that show. And that's a really important thing because bringing the world's trade shows onto this platform democratizes the information that's happening here for small businesses all around the world, right? So you don't have to make the decision, oh, I can't afford to go to that event. I feel out of the loop. You can log into the event and follow it in real time. The other thing we've put in place is the ability to follow, like you do on Twitter, individual manufacturers. So that rather than a manufacturer sending you tons of catalogs in the mail or spamming your inbox with emails, you actually can consume their innovation and information at your own appetite, just like you do on Twitter, for example. So when we think about global commerce, we're thinking about an ecosystem that enables people who make things and people who procure them to connect with one another. But we at Alibaba think we have an incredibly important role in that relationship. Because just like when I clicked the button this morning to get an Uber to pick me up to take me over here, I didn't drive the car or choose the driver. Uber did that. But I knew that it would be there in 9 minutes because it's CES. The cars take forever. But I knew the car would come. I knew that it would be a 5-star driver, and I knew if I had a problem, I could escalate that problem to the folks at Uber. At Alibaba, we view our relationship in the trade very similarly. So an example of that is if Erica finds a manufacturer on our platform, she has a product that she can use called trade assurance. Does anybody know what trade assurance is? Trade assurance is escrow. So Erica is manufacturing these little devices, and they're $10,000, and she's nervous. She's going to wire the money, but what if what shows up isn't what I ordered, right? Well, she uses our trade assurance payment system, and the money goes in escrow. And when the goods are delivered, she inspects them and says, just as I ordered, and so the funds are released to the manufacturer. And in the off chance what shows up isn't what she wanted, there's two things. One, because 100% of her communication between herself and the manufacturer happened inside the platform, there's a record. It isn't Gmail and Skype. There's a record and a contract. So if there's a dispute, it can be resolved, and she gets her money back, right? I may start dancing with the music there. I won't. The next part of our business that I think is important is I've just been describing the experience from the perspective of someone who's using Alibaba.com to source the goods they need. Alibaba.com also is a solution for people who are manufacturers looking for distribution. So we have tens of thousands of businesses, many of them here in the United States, who are using Alibaba.com because they're based in Detroit and they're selling goods to folks in Los Angeles, or they're selling goods to folks in Toronto or Mexico City, or they're using Alibaba.com to distribute their goods into China. And the reason why we think this is super important is the Alibaba.com platform is a global platform with suppliers and buyers around the world, and it is agnostic to the geography of the supplier or the buyer. It has the same functionality and tools for all. And the number one thing we learn when we talk to entrepreneurs in North America, there's two things. They want more time, they need more working capital, and they need more orders. So time, we've built a very highly simple platform to make sourcing and procurement easier. They need more orders, so we have millions of people buying billions of dollars of goods every month inside this platform. So if I was someone, a quick story, there is a medical device manufacturer in Los Angeles who now lives in Beverly Hills because he's using Alibaba.com to sell his devices to Saudi Arabia and Dubai and the Middle East, because he has high quality products at low cost. The platform reaches millions of customers, and rather than competing for his business locally, he's actually using the platform to distribute his capability globally. This is a new part of our platform that is less well known. And so as a tip, if anybody in this room is looking for increased distribution of your goods, I would encourage you to step by that Alibaba.com booth up in the front and talk about being on the platform, because it is less well known than we think it should be. And the folks that are the early adopters are getting more volume. And so it's always good to be first in a platform that has billions of dollars a month in transactions. We all know the stories of the guys who were early at eBay or early at Amazon or early at fill in the blank. And this is a similar scenario to that. The folks, these brands that you see here are the manufacturers from China that have joined us here in our Alibaba.com booth. And the reason why I wanted to highlight them is not to try to convince you to use Music City to manufacture your goods, I actually wanted to try to make a different point. And I think I spent 98 days in China last year, and I travel constantly. The one thing I've learned about small businesses and entrepreneurs is they're the same regardless of their geography. Every small business owner that I know is worried about paying their bills, growing their business, feeding their family, and sending their kids to college. And there is a universal desire for a operating system that makes it easier to operate your business. And I've given you a few highlights of our capital solutions, our logistics solutions, our real-time translation solutions, our distribution solutions, all the ways we're doing it. But at the end of the day, really what we're doing is helping make relationships between people. And I encourage you to visit some of the folks and entrepreneurs that are in that booth over there, because I think you'll find that there's a lot of commonality between yourself and those folks that are there. This is a little bit of marketing speak about our trade assurance, pay later, and logistics services, which I've highlighted. These are flawless products that are secret weapons of entrepreneurs who are using Alibaba.com to grow their businesses. This is the other secret weapon. So these charming people right here, I share an office with in New York. Tyler, Lydia, Ella, Dylan, Steve, and the gang. The reason why I wanted to show this to you is Alibaba is a technology company, right? And we are 90-some-odd thousand people, and with 70,000 engineers building brilliant technology. But we all know that cross-border trade and B2B trade is really complex. And so what we've staffed here in the United States is a group of experts who are helping folks connect to the right manufacturer or get distribution on their goods. And so if you have a question or need help, many of them are here this week, and I would encourage you to stop by the booth and get to know them, because we are really interested in getting to know you, because the innovations I just described in our business, pay later, logistics, trade assurance, you know where all those came from? Conversations with entrepreneurs, right? We built all the solutions we have based on listening to our customers and understanding their pain. And so these folks are the front end of the tip of the spear, or however you say that are helping us to do just that. And then this has not been announced publicly, but in the next 12 months, we will be on the road. And the team, the North America Alibaba.com team, is going out to meet just about 100,000 North America small businesses to listen to their challenge, help them understand how to use the platform for their procurement, and onboard them onto the platform to get distribution. And that will be meetups and town halls and other ways for us to say, hey, what is it that you make? What is your hope and dream? Let me help you use our technology to realize that. And that's something that we take really seriously. It's not glamorous, to say the least, but it is really useful for us as we build the Alibaba.com platform. And then finally, I think what Jack says frequently is, today's hard, tomorrow's going to be harder, but if we live to see the day after, it's going to be glorious. And I think that's the mantra of an entrepreneur, right? Building a new business is wicked hard. And we want to help North American businesses be successful doing that. And we want to build all the solutions folks need to make it easier. I can't promise you success or orders, but I can connect you to the folks that can help make your job easier and reduce the friction in the process so that you have a greater likelihood to turn your idea, whatever it is, into an innovation, and that innovation into an item, and then that item into a line on your income statement. And those 4 I's are the steps that go into building a new product or platform or service, and we're trying to help folks do that. before we break, and since you guys are not the most interactive audience, I have low degree of confidence here, but let's come out of our comfort zones and if you have a question, ask it, and maybe your question could help the person sitting next to you. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, if I have a brilliant idea and I write it down on a napkin and I'm searching for a factory who can build it, how do I know that the idea on the napkin is like secure or like...
So the question, if you didn't hear, is, hey, if I'm doing business with someone and I have an idea, how do I protect my intellectual property? Right? Like, that's an obvious question and an important one. So at Alibaba, data security and intellectual property protection is a #1 priority for us. And what we are focused on doing is matching people. The algorithm matches people to our highest quality suppliers that we've verified and have the most confidence in. So I think the answer to that is we're filtering bad actors out of our system, so you can feel comfortable that the people who are in our system are the highest quality that you can trust to do business with. And trust is the essence of trade, right? Because you have to trust someone's going to make what you say, deliver it in the materials you want at the, for the price you've agreed to, and not steal it. That's a minimum expectation, and we are very focused on delivering against that minimum expectation. It's a great question. Other comments or questions? Who's got a okay, there's one back there. Chaz? Thanks.
Oh, I can see you.
Thank you. Hi there. What kinds of design partners do you have as part of Alibaba? And not necessarily on the sourcing side, but more so on purely design.
Can you speak a little louder? Can you speak?
Oh, yes. I was just curious about design in particular. Did you hear my question? Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the question was, what kind of design partners or sourcing do we have? So the Alibaba.com platform doesn't today have integrated design resources in it. But what we found is that most of the manufacturers have very robust design capability. And if the folks, I forgot his first name from the eye patch. If Michael were here, Michael will tell you that it was his collaboration with his factory that designed his product. And so I think the answer to that is on the front end of choosing the supplier or the manufacturer you're doing business with and investing the energy in talking with them. That's one of the reasons why we built the real-time translation, so that you could actually have a creative conversation with the person who's in the factory developing the prototypes for you and sending samples. And I think that collaboration is between the factory and yourself as an entrepreneur is the best way to do that. Today we don't have a built-in system. There are other marketplaces of design professionals that exist that are like the Thumbtack or Elance or other platforms, or the old Elance, that exist to help people find design resources. Any other questions folks have? Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I'm here. The folks from Alibaba are here.